Today's programme begins with the Vintage Tractor Rally, which was held in Murroe on the 16th of September. Sean Whyte will tell us all about it.
I sat beside a man from Hollywood, California on a plane. He said he had rich and famous friends. Yeah, he liked dropping names. I said, well, how'd it do? It's good for you. I dig a lot of those actors. But son, you ain't got a thing on me. See, I got friends with tractors. They'll grow your groceries, haul a load, pull you out, then fix the road. They're good at slowing speeders down when they pass through from out of town. I'll live out in the country, happily ever after. I got everything I need, 'cause I got friends with tractors.
We ran a rally last year, our first. To be honest, we didn't even know what we were about last year, what we were doing. We decided, for a bit of fun, we'd get 20 or 30 tractors, vintage style, and do a run from Murroe to Ballyhinch. And we said, then, sure, if we get maybe 20 euros a tractor, sold to some charity, or someone would benefit from it. So with that, anyway, Phil King and Crokers came on board with us, and he was involved with Laura Lynn Foundation in Dublin. So it worked out perfect. We didn't have any paperwork to get involved in. We just said any proceeds we'd give to the Laura Lynn Foundation. So that was straightforward. It took a lot of pressure off us to organise paperwork and stuff. And guys started to gather momentum then as time went on. That just started to spread. And every day as it went on, there was someone new. You heard of someone new that was interested. That's about it. Like, we didn't advertise as such. We made up a few signs. We painted the lads here, 3 girls and Dennis's girls painted signs. It just started to gather momentum as the time went on, and when people got interested, more and more got interested, and we knew then we were kind of going somewhere. So we said then we'd maybe up the entry a small bit, maybe and chance our luck. And we said we'd chance 50 and see how it went, and it seemed to run along fine. Like, nobody had any objection to that. And as time went on, like, we heard there was 40 coming, and then there was 50, and we heard there was 7 or 8 more coming. And on the day, it turned out we got, I think, 81, maybe 83, give somewhere there around. We were over the moon. Like, so we didn't expect that at all. Like, we hadn't even organised for that many tractors at all to come. Lads came down from West Clare, 5 or 6 lads came down from West Clare, down from Gilrush, which added to, like, the friends that I know up there. Delighted to come and support. It's a good day out, like, and the most enjoyable day out for everyone. Most of the people there, like, I'd say, were never on one before. Didn't even know how the tractor run was. Afterwards, people talked about it, like, and if they'd known what it was about, they understood, like, that it was painted up vintage tractors, shiny tractors. But sure, there was yokes pulled out of ditches, like, and the moss washed off them, like, wheels pumped up, as you can see from the footage. Like. There's a number of people there that have helped out. Dennis and Edward D, Liam O'Brien, Dennis and Mike Holmes, Christy Gorman. Look, there's a lot of people there that helped out. I know I'm going to leave out people, like, and I don't want to be. That's why I don't want to name people, because I know, well, I'll get stick over it. Like, so we started the thing this year. Then we'd give medals to each participant, and Edward got 110 medals printed up, and we said, just there'll be loads in that. Sure, as we were giving them out, like, the word was coming up along the line that we were out of medals. I had to run down the line and rob medals back of fellas that I had given medals to give them to strangers that wouldn't be around again. So, I mean, it was a great complaint. Poor old Stevie ran into a bit of a hard look, alright, with his 35. Like, I mean, the one lesson we've learned from that is it isn't all about paint. Like, I mean, the service doesn't go astray either, like, you know. Then we had another lad as well broke down. We had a recovery truck as well. Christy Gorman provided us with a recovery truck. So we had that as well. Like. We had every make and model of a tractor, I'd say, there this year. The oldest, probably the oldest, and one of the best looking tractors would have been the David Brown 25, driven by one of our lady drivers, Anne Marie Courtney. Tractor looked well, and driver didn't look too bad either. So, and Paula Murroe, I think it was her first day out driving. I don't believe, according to George, she hadn't driven before. She was, as he says himself, she was only thrown up in it even before to get up and drive, and did a very well job now. Made the journey, completed the journey. We had David Brown, we had Fords, Internationals. David Brown, probably a lot of David Browns there. We had Nuffields, Nurses 355, a very reliable model now. The man came from Newcastle West that heard about it on 95 FM. He rang me during the week to know could he come, and he supported, and we greatly appreciate that. That would be, the rest would have been pretty much local, within a 10-mile radius probably, or 15-mile radius. Liam O'Brien, Tom Ryan, George Keys, Mike Holmes, Ger Ryan. Endless, like, I mean, you go on and on. I'd say Tom O'Malley, that's another character. Like, if there's to be a prize given out for something original and a real classic, I think we'd have to give it to him. All going well, and touch wood, it could be an annual thing. Like, we have great support, and it's down to each and everyone that supported this year. Like, it's not down to you're talking about the organising committee. The organising committee only played their business. It's everybody that turned up, the contributors. They made the day. They made it a success that it was. And like, as I say, it's the Tom Manellis, the Anne Marie Courtney's, you name it, anybody who turned up with their own machine. They came, as I say, people came distance. Like, we had lads down from Kilrush. This year's proceeds are going to St. Vincent's and Lisnagray, and proceeds are being presented on Saturday night, the 22nd, in Crokers, and we have a raffle with an absolute amount of spot prizes. People have been very generous with spot prizes, and like, we have some very good spot prizes. That'll start probably around 9 o'clock, give or take. But everybody is welcome, and support is always appreciated, like, you know. Before I forget it, I'd also like to thank the Maloney's and Martina and Maria in the pub in Ballyhinch for looking after us excellently, and their support as well was much appreciated. And Crokers, I want to thank Crokers as well for putting on the performance and putting on the food and everything. Thank him. I want to thank him very much for that. Everyone enjoyed the day now. I think it was the most enjoyable day.
We paid a visit to Bilboa Bridge on Saturday the 22nd of September. Ruairi told us about the LIFE programme and the great work being done by the Mulkear conservation volunteers.
Green bag. We might have a Himalayan balsam bag, and then Well, we're here today at a beautiful site. It's just at Bilboa Bridge, so we're just slightly upstream from Bilboa Bridge on the Bilboa River. We're in this wonderful meadow, and as you can see, there's a fantastic amount of native broadleaf here all along the river. And we're here doing work as part of the Mulkear Life project, and here we have Mulkear conservation volunteers. This is a grouping of conservation volunteers that undertake practical conservation work right throughout the Mulkear catchment, right across Limerick County, North Tip and South Tip. And as you can see, the work that's been done today is we're removing a non-native invasive species called pheasantberry. It's a very problematic plant in that it takes over and blocks out the native flora on the ground. We're also dealing with Himalayan balsam, and we've been here before with the Himalayan balsam. But basically we're improving the status of this site. This is a special area of conservation. It's along the Bilboa River, as I said. It's a very important site for the local community. We have the consent of the landowner, and we've had to get ministerial consent from the National Parks and Wildlife Service. So we have that permission from the ministerial consent to do this work. And as you can see, it's a wonderful, wonderful site. It's an important site for a variety of species, including salmon, including sea lamprey. It's an electro-fishing site for the Mulkear Life Project. It's an otter survey site. It's a very important site for otter because of the habitat that is here, and we're trying to protect and enhance that habitat. As you can see, the Mulkear conservation volunteers are a seriously dedicated bunch of volunteers that undertake work along the rivers throughout the Mulkear catchment. We meet on a monthly basis. We undertake practical conservation work on a monthly basis, and the work is spread, as I said, right throughout the catchment. It's practical. It's not concerned with talking. It's concerned with actually doing work, and we have a good contingent of volunteers out today doing real hard practical conservation work. This particular stretch, there's about 450 metres in this particular stretch of work, and the work that we're doing involves fencing of the river course with the consent of the landowner. It involves widening of existing paths and cutting back the scrub on existing paths, and we'll also, as I said, be removing a whole range of species. And you can see how important the site is with this particular bird here. I don't know if you'll be able to catch that, but that's a kestrel, and it's been mobbed by the last of the few swallows knocking about, so it's just flown over the crest of the hill. But it's a wonderfully important site, and we certainly greatly appreciate the consent of the landowner to do the work here.
Now we get active with Ray Laffan's exercises.
Hello everybody, we have been working on Raglan Road, and hopefully you've all been doing a bit of singing and practicing as best you can, but hopefully today we'll add another verse to it, and we will get a bit more vocal exercises done. So we'll start off with our usual exercises where we, as best we can take our hand and we put it on our shoulder. Now if you're not able to do it, it doesn't matter. And we pretend there's a sheet of paper out here at the end of our elbow, and we start making small circles. And then we increase them and make larger circles as we go. And make your circles a little bit bigger as you go. And then you can stop, and we'll go back in the opposite direction. Again, starting with small circles, rotating the larger circles as you go. Now, once this is done, drop your hand down to your side, give it a little bit of a shake. So now we're going to do the very same again by going to the opposite side. Again, start with small circles, getting larger as you go. And then we come to a stop, and we go back in the opposite direction. Small, going to large. Now that's very good. So again, we'll shake our arms in order to gain a bit of looseness. We're going to bring in the diaphragmatic breathing element. And what I want you to do is take your hand up and pretend that your fingers are 5 candles. And you take a deep breath, let the breath go down to the bottom of your stomach, and then blow out the candles. This will bring in what I call the diaphragmatic muscles from the bottom. You will feel them as you blow the candles. So we go. You can feel your stomach moving in a rather jagged motion. That means you're using those diaphragmatic muscles. And sometimes people get dizzy when they do this because they haven't done it for a long time. Don't worry about that. That's very natural. So we do it again. Each time you're using that diaphragmatic muscle. Do it one more time. Breathing in. And if you breathe into a straw, it's easier to get the, like sucking to a straw. It gets the air right down. Now, have a short relaxation there, because obviously maybe you might have a little dizziness. It's not unusual for that to happen. The next exercise which we do, we'll make a hissing noise. Again, we'll suck in like to a straw, because that'll bring the air down to your stomach area. So, and then we'll make a hissing noise for as long as we can. So, don't worry if I'm longer than you, because I'm at this quite a regular basis. So we do that again, just in order to, and this time we will force the hiss a little bit more. Let's pretend that it's leaking the air a little bit faster. Again, you will feel a kind of an opening up of the vocal cord area when you do this. So take a deep breath again. Now we will bring notes into play. What we did before, I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to count up and down a scale of 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's important that you hold the last note. You're learning to hold notes as you go. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to come down the scale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what we're doing is we're going up a scale and coming down a scale. It's like notation for your voice. We'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll come down again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time, because the more you practice, the more you do these things, the better your voice will be. So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll hold the last note again when we're coming down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to jump from 1 to 5. 1, 5. Your turn. We're going to come down. 5, 1. 5, 1. I want you to do it now. So by doing these exercises, we've opened up the voice, and now we're introducing notes. One thing I also want you to do on this particular song is what I call sit on the vowels, the A, E, I, O and U. I discussed this the last time, because the vowels open up the voice. So a lot of singers will sit on a vowel when they're singing. So we're going to start singing this song together now. I'm going to count you in, and we'll start. 1, 2, 3, 4. On Raglan Road on an autumn day, I saw her once and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare that I might one day rue. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way, and said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. We'll go to verse 2. On Grafton Street in November, we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's pledge. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. Oh, I love too much, and by such is happiness thrown away. Them are the first two verses that we did last time. I'm going to go on now and do the third verse, and we'll add all three verses. Again, I would emphasize the use of the vowels as an aid, which helps you to sing songs like this, which can be difficult. I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave her gifts of the mind. I gave her the secret signs, known to the artists who have known the true gods of sound and stone. And word and tint I did not stint. I gave her poems to say, with her own name there and her own dark hair, like clouds o'er the fields of May. Now we put all those three verses together and we'll sing them as a group. So I want you to all get yourself ready, get yourself good posture, because this is three verses that we must tackle together, and it's important that we prepare ourselves. So I'm going to count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. On Raglan Road of an autumn day, I saw her once and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare that I might one day rue. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way, and said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street in November, we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's pledge. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. And I love too much, and by such is happiness thrown away. I gave her gifts of the mind. I gave her the secret signs, known to the artists who have known the true God of sound and stone. And word and tint I did not stint. I gave her poems to say, with her own name there and her own dark hair, like clouds o'er the field of May. Now, we've done that together today. It's a difficult song in many ways. It might have been, I might have done it a little bit faster, but that was for the purpose of us being able to sing it together and being able to make use of the vowels as we go. Thanks very much for your time and for your attention. So hopefully we'll be back again soon. Thank you.
In sports reports, we hear from Caroline Hickey on Camogie. Philip D gives us the GAA news, and Noel Regan covers the Murroe AFC.
It has been a busy week on the Camogie scene, with 3 teams playing in the county semi-final and 1 team playing their last group game. First up, on the 18th of September, the under-14s took on Killard of North Kerry and won on a scoreline of Murroe 2-3, Killard 1 goal. It was a great game with the girls playing very well, especially as they had to play 15 aside on a full field, something they are not used to. This benefited the girls as they had more space and could take on Killard. They are now into the county final against Patrickswell, with the date just yet to be decided. Well done to Aoife, Saoirse, Mary and Grania, who represented the under-14 Limerick team in Dublin on the Saturday of the Camogie All-Ireland. They had a great day and won 2 games and lost 1. Next up, on the 20th of September, the under-12s took on Newcastle West, but unfortunately lost out to a much stronger Newcastle West team on a scoreline of Murroe 1 point, Newcastle West 5-3. The girls kept fighting and never gave up from start to finish. On the 21st of September, the under-16s unfortunately lost their county semi-final on a scoreline of Caparua 4-6, Granaballingarry 6-7. The girls were unlucky to have to play against a strong Sun in the first half and conceded 2 unlucky goals. The girls kept fighting throughout the game, and their supporters were treated to some well-taken goals by both teams. On the 23rd of September, all roads led to Monaleen, where the intermediates took on Ballybrown in their last group game and won by 7 points on a scoreline of Murroe 1-9, Ballybrown 5 points. It was a very hard and physical game. The whole team played very well, with there being 6 different scorers on the day and the backs keeping Ballybrown to 1 point from play. This result means they finished the group as group winners and continue their unbeaten run in the championship. They are now into the county semi-final, where their likely opponents are there. This game is fixed for Sunday the 30th of September. And finally, the County Camogie Board are having a dog night in the Greyhound Stadium, Limerick, Friday the 26th of October. Tickets are €10 with children in free. This will also benefit our club. So if you are looking for a night of a difference, contact Helena on 087 6208 469. Also, if you want to promote your business, you can purchase an advert. This can also be done by contacting Helena again on 087 6208 469. All support welcome. Thank you very much.
Hi, Philip D, Secretary, Murroe GA Club. Well, we're at the tail end of the year now at this stage of the playing year, the playing season, and very little left in the way of any serious action at this stage. Our Junior B hurling team reached the semi-final of the East Limerick Junior B hurling championship. Were well beaten by Doon on the night. Again, played in Cappamore there about 2 weeks ago, and I see Doon are in the final, and fair play to them, and the best of luck to them. The Junior Bs have 1 match remaining. They're in the final of the Brian Butler Cup, also against Doon, so their hopes wouldn't be very high at this stage, but there's no date for that game yet. So that would be the end of their season once that game is played, and hopefully we can overturn the previous result against Doon. Our senior hurling team played their last game of the year last Saturday, September 22nd, in the Gaelic grounds in the final of the County Senior Hurling Cup. We beat South Liberties in the semi-final of that about a month previously, and last Saturday, as I say, in the Gaelic grounds, we played Ruairi in the final, and it was our first ever appearance, as far as I know, in the County Cup final. In fact, it was, because it's only the 3rd year it's been played for, and I'm happy to report that we beat Ruairi on a scoreline of 122 to 216, a 3-point victory, I think that is,
on the day. We were 8 points up at half time, and on the resumption of play, very hard pressed. We were very hard pressed. There was a very strong resurgence from Ruairi. They pushed us several times within a few points. We managed to hold on. It was a very exciting last 15 minutes. In fact, it was a great display. In fairness, a very exciting match. Some wonderful hurling played, and we're very happy to have some silverware at the end of the year. We went into this game without James Butler, who was injured in the championship match against Knockany. Kevin Tobin, our centre back, was also out of action. He hurt his knee in the semi-final of the County Senior Hurling Cup against South Liberties. And James Butler, Kevin Tobin. We were also without the services of Pat O'Connor, who was injured a few months ago. And we played a challenge match at the UL North Campus the previous Tuesday, and we were against a team from Galway, and we were very, very unlucky in that Declan Kett was injured. He sustained a broken thumb in that game, so there was four players we had to start without on Saturday. And speaking of injuries, Seamus Hickey must be one of the most unfortunate players. He sustained a broken collarbone on Saturday in the Ruairi game. And our best wishes to Seamus, and we wish him a speedy recovery. So we end the year with some silverware on the senior front. Our minors are finished, as are the under-21s, and the Board and Nogue season is almost finished as well, as far as I know. So well done to the boys on the Senior Cup win, and we're holding on now and hoping that maybe the Junior Bees might be able to bring off a shock result in the final of the Brian Butler Cup. Thanks very much.
Hi, these are the Murroe AFC notes for the past couple of weeks, and we'll start off this week with the A team or the club team, which was playing recently. Murroe played Shannontown in the FAI Cup last Sunday week out in Shannon, and a Brian Quinn goal gave Murroe victory to advance to the next round. On last Sunday, the team were in action against Pike Rovers in the Munster Junior Cup, and despite dominating possession and chances, lost on a 2-0 scoreline, which was very unlucky for the team because they were definitely the better side on the day. Just luck didn't favour them. Our under-15 boys travelled to Herbertstown and came away with a 2-2 draw, but unfortunately their unbeaten start to the season came to an end last week when losing 6-3 in a thriller away to Rathkeale. Paddy Kelly with a brace and Sean Handley scored for Murroe. Our under-12 boys lost away to Charleville, but the under-11s maintained their good start to the league campaign with a 1-1 draw with Galbally, Jamie Newton netting for Murroe. And that team is still unbeaten and top of the table in the under-11s this season, so well done to all the young lads. On the girls front, our under-12 girls had their first match of the season against Ballylanders, and though losing 2-0 put in a very good performance, and the omens are good for the season ahead for them. Our under-16 girls got their league campaign off to a flying start with a resounding 6-0 win over Ballylanders. Shauna Ryan with a player of the match performance scored 2, and Aoife Barry, Grania Regan, Ellen Lynch and Laura Walsh all accounted for Murroe's tally. And that was an excellent start to the campaign for the girls, and we've great hopes that in this season that they'll go a long way in the league campaign. Finally, we'd just like to welcome all the new coaches into the club this season. I'll give an update on that in the next bulletin, but we had appealed recently for coaches for our under-8s boys teams, and we hope that we fill that vacancy and we'll be able to give those boys the football that they deserve going forward. So again, many thanks again for all your support in the community.
Father Ryan's thought for the week this time comes from the beautiful church in Rarecross.
Well, we're here this evening in the Church of the Visitation in Rarecross, my native place, and this little church is unique and we're very proud of it. At the moment, actually, it looks absolutely beautiful. Unless I should forget, we owe a great debt of gratitude to our parish priest here, Father Dan Woods, who maintains this place extremely well, and it looks as if it has been painted recently. So it's a delightful little church with a lot of history attached to it. It was a Methodist church in Wales, erected around the 1840s, and around that time, during the Industrial Revolution in England, we had populations moving from the glens and the valleys, going into the cities and big towns for work. And so during the 1880s, this little church became redundant. The Methodist people went off in search of work, and so this little chapel had lost its flock. And it was put up for sale around the 1880s, and the parish priest at the time in this parish of Kilcommon, Hollyford and Rarecross, Father William McKeough, he got to know about this, and he went across and bought a second-hand church. Now, I don't know how much he paid for it, but he had it shipped back to Limerick, and the parishioners here went down to Limerick and brought this church back in pieces, and it was re-erected here in the year 1887. Now, I should say that there was no church here before this church. I think there was a Mass Rock over in Garavan, about 2.5 miles from here. But the people from here went to Mass mostly in Tour and Kilcommon and Cappamore, walking through the fields, over the hills. We often hear about Mass paths, and I'm sure there was a Mass path leading to Kilcommon Church in Tour and Cappamore from this place. So it is an unusual church in that it is made of corrugated, non-rusting tin, often referred to as the galvanized church. But then the beautiful timber on the inside, and in between there is this thing called jute insulation. And so it has lasted all those years, from 1887 now 2012. I think that's about 125 years. And it's as good today and as solid as it was, I'm sure, when it was erected all those years ago. It's a beautiful church. So this is the church where I was baptized. As a matter of fact, there's a little inscription on the baptistry down there at the back. It's a verse from Patrick Pearse's poem, The Wayfarer, adapted to suit the countryside around here. And I'll just read this little verse. By a silvery stream at evening, lit by a slanting sun, or some green hill where shadows drifted by, some quiet hill where mountainy men had sown and soon would reap, near to the gate of heaven. So I made my first communion here, and confirmation. Confirmation, well, we had to go to Kilcommon, the parish church, for that, but we were examined here in this church by Archbishop Kennan. It was an awful ordeal. And I'm sure many people will remember being examined by the bishop in their local churches. And a few years before that, there was a young man in the class, and of course the catechism was more or less beaten into us. We didn't understand a lot of it. But this young lad, he found it fierce difficult. And when he came before the bishop had been asking questions about the wedding feast at Cana, and who was at the feast, and what did Mary say, and how many stone water jars were there, and what happened, and so forth. And when he came to my neighbour, now long gone, he asked this young lad, he said, did our Lord work any more or many more miracles? And the young fellow thought for about 10 seconds, looked him straight in the face, and he said, not to my knowledge. Wasn't a bad answer. So we also serve Mass here. In those days, when we were serving Mass back in the 50s and the 40s, there was, of course, the altar rails were along here. There was a high altar, maybe 2 side altars, I'm not sure about that now. But my brother and myself were caught out this particular Sunday. We weren't long serving Mass here, and lo and behold, we hadn't much of a clue. And because the boys in those days, of course, who were experienced hadn't turned up. So one of the things that had to be done during the Mass was to go up to the altar, pick up the book and the stand, bring it down, genuflect, and go to the other side. I think there's the gospel side. But which one of us did it now, I'm not sure, but it happened. The book went flying off the stand, and our family nearly had to leave the parish. Shamed. But that was a long time ago. So I remember well the faith of the people here. I mean, they were, I suppose, no better than people in any other parish at that time. But this little church used to be full. We were sitting seat over there somewhere, and there was always this man used to kneel there and give out the rosary every Sunday. And he was cross enough. If you weren't behaving, you could get a wallop of the stick if you happened to be near him. And the same people said decades every Sunday. And this wasn't just a faith thing, Mass and Sunday. It was also a great social occasion, because one of our priests wasn't a great timekeeper, and he was a bit late coming. You'd have the people out there, out with a wall along in front of the church, and they'd be chatting away, and women in the church grounds, and after the Mass they would stay on too. By the way, the two priests that I remember most in my time here, the parish priest was a Father Willie Ryan. And the one thing he wanted to do for us here was to get the electricity. And he was so annoyed that people in the office had known the Thurles of Limerick that they eventually said, we'll have to give it to them. So we got the electricity before our time, and the other priest was the Father James Russell, extremely well known still, a lot of devotion to the man, looked upon as a saint. So I think myself and people who grew up here, we were indebted to the people here. That strong faith certainly rubbed off on us. And on this day, so many years after all of that, going to church here, I just pray that they're all being looked after in that blessed spot, God's kingdom. So, Caimid ve fear buic doiv, agus mille buicus dogia.